I think they'll buff Ball. Maybe. I mean, okay, so here's my take on Wrecking Ball. And how's it going, Sendai? Here's my take on Wrecking Ball, chat. You ready? We'll talk about it. I think Ball is a tank that, because there's no CC, you know how Tracer got buffed to 6 damage? Like, do you notice how, like, Tracer got buffed to 6 damage and immediately they had to try to find a nerf for Tracer? I think Wrecking Ball would be very similar with any buffs. So how do you buff Wrecking Ball without making Wrecking Ball, like, unreal? Because Wrecking Ball can't be CC'd, right? So right now in Overwatch, especially with some of the heroes being played, like, Wrecking Ball doesn't play as well. But there was a time during, like, the beta where Wrecking Ball was meta, like, on some maps, because you just could not kill Ball. Like, I think Ball was being played on push maps because Ball was unkillable. Like, Ball was unkillable. So, like, in Overwatch League, they were playing Wrecking Ball on push because Ball just, there was no way to get Ball. And that was even during, like, Sojourn being pretty good. But then as Sojourn got, like, fully buffed and the meta shifted, Ball wasn't as good. So it's like, here's my take on this. I think Wrecking Ball is a hero that when the right meta is there, Wrecking Ball can be A tier. But the problem is that when Wrecking Ball isn't meta, Wrecking Ball is like D tier. You get what I'm saying? So what they need to do is they need to change that. Is variance the correct way to put this, or like the right wording? How do you make it so Wrecking Ball can be anywhere from A to C tier and not A to D tier? That is the question. What is that change that will allow Wrecking Ball to be A tier and then go to C tier? Because I feel like when tanks are going from like A to C tier, you can play a lot of those tanks. So the problem you run into is when a tank is S tier and a tank is D tier. And you go, whoa, why does that matter? Well, if it's S tier, more than likely a must pick or dominant over other heroes. D tier means that when you play that hero, there's a good chance the heroes in the C, B, or A tier are going to play a little bit better. So if Wrecking Ball has that variance of going from like A tier to D tier based off of patches, what is the change that can take Wrecking Ball to go up to C tier, maybe even B tier, and have a variance that's a little bit better? That's what they need to figure out with Wrecking Ball. I don't know what that change is going to be. Maybe more HP. But more HP might make Wrecking Ball unkillable. Maybe they get rid of the 6-second grapple thing. Possibly. But then you're going to have more stalls on maps, and that was why they got rid of that, right? So there's definitely some issues there that they'll probably have to figure out with Ball, but maybe that changes. Maybe when, there's less S tier tanks and we're starting to see more and more tanks end up in the A tier, B tier, C tier category, that Wrecking Ball just naturally ends up in like the A tier, B tier, C tier, and you have a better playstyle, right? There's definitely things they probably can look into and probably adjust with Wrecking Ball, and I imagine they will, and I think in Overwatch 2 we're probably going to see a lot more of that balance shift happen quite a bit, especially as we've seen with the recent patch. So don't be surprised to see more and more changes like that. Especially aggressive changes, kind of like we saw with Doomfist, which I think will happen, especially with the more seasonal-based seasons now, where they want the seasons to feel more exciting and for each season to feel different. Grendel, thanks for the 14 months with the Regis Prime sub. Appreciate it. Are they going to buff Rein? Maybe. Maybe not. I don't know. Possibly. I mean, Ryan had a time during the beta where Ryan was good. And then they nerfed Lucio, I think it was. I think they nerfed Lucio, and they got rid of Ryan's armor. Okay, want to know how they make Ryan OP? Give Ryan some more armor, and Ryan just dominates. Straight up. If they ever want Ryan to be meta, there has been a certain buff to Ryan where Ryan has become meta every single time on this one. You ready? Give Ryan like more armor for a little bit. Ryan will be meta. If they want to do that, just give Ryan some armor. Happens every time that they give Ryan a little bit more armor. Ryan just goes and dominates. Just goes and dominates. It happens every single time. Happened in Overwatch 1, happened in Overwatch 2. So if they ever want to make Ryan just be meta for a season just because they want to, a little bit of armor. Yep, just give Ryan some armor. Happens every time. Same with Zen. You want Zen to be meta? Give Zen 25 HP. No, I mean, I think with armor, just Ryan has more survivability at that point, which, I mean, could be a possible change. I've suggested the idea of, like, how can you find a way, and I don't know if this would be good or bad for Ryan, or if it would make Ryan too OP, or what is a way where you can make Reinhardt get speed boost without relying on Lucio? Maybe when your shield breaks, you get a speed boost buff. I think Ryan could play pretty well when he drops shield. I mean, I still feel like that. I mean, maybe, but like already has cancelable charge. Yes, but it doesn't mean that Ryan will actually still. Ryan isn't quite meta. I'm not saying that that would be a change that you would want for Ryan with the 20% move speed, or maybe even 10%. But I think Ryan would benefit from not having to rely on having a Lucio on their team, because Ryan very much relies on having a Lucio on their team. If you don't have a Lucio, Ryan plays significantly worse. That's why I love the Nemesis change with Ramacha. When you're in Nemesis form now, you get speed boost. It's great. Yo, it is great. It's a great change. I love it. I absolutely love it. Ryan speed boost when he hits a fire strike? Maybe. Why not? You never know. I would love for them to throw up an experimental patch. Just like an experimental patch with Ryan. Be like, hey, see what happens. Is it good? Does it play well? Why not? He said fire strike leads a mark on the ground that gives a speed boost for Ryan. Honestly, that sounds pretty cool. That reminds me of remember when May could left click the ground and increase speed? Or like one of the experimentals? That actually sounds pretty cool. I didn't even think about that. What is this? Are you wait, hey, what is going on here, dude?
You don't get it. Dude, I was working on something, right? I was working on something.
Yeah.
And I opened my other YouTube on another tab.
Yeah.
And I heard, I wonder what Flats thinks. And you know when you go to my YouTube homepage and it's like the spectating intro?
Yeah, yeah.
Not playing for some reason in the background. And then I was like, why are you doing this to me? Hang on, I'll link you the one.
Yeah, I'm curious now. You typed 27 times in the chat too. We were so confused.
I thought you were trolling me for some reason. I thought you had, dude. I started listening to this. It was like a year old, and it makes my brain fall apart listening to this thing every time I open my YouTube.
Let me see.
And oh my god, I thought you were doing it to fuck with me.
I've got another one of y'all's favorite today.
Oh, here's one of your intros with a goodie.
Bronze.
Dude, it was going for like 45 seconds, so I was like, please stop, dude. I've had enough.
So you were hearing the intro to your video, and you're like, why the heck is it? Okay, I get what you're saying.
Why are you doing this? Like, what? No. I thought I missed a meme or something. I was like, oh, man.
I was like, what are you talking about? I was so confused.
Oh my god. Oh, my god.
So what chat was saying, so chat came up with an idea. We're talking, you know how I talked about always about giving like speed boost to Reinhardt?
Yeah.
Someone in chat said, what if when you fire strike, it leaves like a speed boost like path?
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I just think it's like, so like, remember like when we had May had the thing.
Yeah, I said the same thing about May. I was like, when you would like aim at the ground. Yeah.
I wonder like, thinking game design wise, like when do things get a little too complicated?
That's fair.
And it's like, yeah, like, because if I had used my fire strike to throw it at the ground or something to give it speed boost, like I feel like I'm just wasting my
no, not at the ground. It would leave an effect when just gone anywhere, like just downwards.
What do you mean?
So like when you fire strike anywhere, even if you fire strike in the air, I guess it would just stop in front of you, right?
Yeah, like what height and what verticality and like what?
I mean, I imagine if you just alt up into the, or you fire strike up into the air, it would just go nowhere, right?
I guess that's fair.
But like I don't know how you even design that. I mean, I still was talking about the shield breaking thing. But like someone in chat said that, I'm like, hey, that could actually be kind of cool if done right. I don't know how you would do it, but it sounds like, but yeah, Ryan needs that. I just want to point that out. I was talking about this.
Oh yeah, some type of like speed boost thing.
Oh, Nemesis form has it now. Look how much better Nemesis form is with Ramacha.
Oh yeah.
That's why I've always talked about that with Ryan. Give Ryan a bit of like a speed boost, so Ryan doesn't have to rely on a hero. Because a lot of heroes now aren't like relying as much on a hero anymore.
That's true. Ryan's like one of the only ones that actually is reliant on another pick.
Exactly. Sojourn, like, even though Sojourn, you can one-shot people with like damage boost right now, you can still play Sojourn without damage boost.
Oh yeah,
you know what 100%. I mean? So, Ryan just needs speed boost to play well. I was just thinking, like, someone said Junker Queen. Well, Junker Queen used to be able to be fine, but anyway, sorry, I just randomly asked that question, and that was funny.
All right, you're good. Yeah, I was listening. So
that sounds good. All right, well,
all right, have fun. I'll see you later.
Yeah, see you later. You said they're saving all the good changes for PvE? No. PvE is going to be great. I mean, I've been telling chat, I'm looking forward to PvE. I can't wait. PvE is going to be awesome. You know what I'm wondering? Now that they've used 5.5 damage, would punch being on... Would it be possible to put the punch on a 3.5 second cooldown and see how it plays? If they're trying to adjust the punch? If, like, the punch has made Doom that bad... Keep in mind, I'm terrible at Doom. You could make the punch probably half a second and I would still be terrible. But do you think they could find like an in-between of like 3.5? Would that still work with the timings, or would that not be enough? I'm just wondering how like 3.5 would be. Because like now that they've made 5.5 damage on Tracer, I'm wondering if like they're willing to do something like that, so. Well, I think like they'll probably notice some of the changes with that, and if they have to make a change, they will. I think they're going to kind of track to see how Doom does now. But yeah, if the timing feels off, I mean, I'm curious to see what 3.5 seconds would feel like. I'm just curious how that would be. I'm not sure that I'm saying that would fix that, but I'm curious. Did I finish the bridge game? No, we have plenty of bridge left. I mean, I would absolutely prefer like them to do like that, like quicker communication and, you know, make changes and balance changes if they have to. Like I said, I don't expect every single season to have like a balance patch a week and a half into the season, right? If they don't have to. But this was clearly a case where it was like, hey, by the way, this hero is still really strong. This hero is really strong. We want to see a different experience in Overwatch too. It's becoming to the point where like, so they went and made some changes, and now we'll see how those changes are. What am I expecting from PvE? I'm not sure what I expect, but I think it will be good. I actually think it will be good. Then why not make every hero strong though? Because then there would still be heroes that are stronger than the other. Like it would, like sometimes it's gonna happen with balance. Like sometimes it's gonna be really strong heroes. Well, no, I mean, well, we've talked about that. That's why I think like you said that every hero should be playable. I've talked about that in a sense where like I think if they can find every hero from the A to like the C tier, I think that you'll be able to play every hero. It's when you have the S tier heroes and the D tier heroes that have it where some heroes aren't played. But I don't know exactly how you specifically balance every single hero to get them to that point. Not that they can't, or it's just tough to do that. It's like, I think it's just going to be some heroes sometimes that are just going to not perform as well as other heroes. And then the idea is that with their new balance style that they should be able to buff those heroes and get them to be a little bit better. And then they'll nerf the heroes that are like overly powerful, which sometimes will put those heroes in D tier, aka Junker Queen, who I hope the buff is good. But like meta wise, like, you know, in top 500 GM games, you're going to see a lot of those same comps being played. But I feel like in a lot of ranks, people just play whatever they want. Yeah, map pool too. There are heroes that are good on certain maps. It's like when I was talking about Pastel Drums, thanks for the 100 bits, appreciate it, thank you. When I was talking about like maps that Sigma is really good on, I wasn't saying that Sigma is only good on those maps. I don't think. Like I feel like Sigma is really good on those maps. Like really good on those maps. Like you can play Sigma on a lot of other maps, but like Sigma dominates on certain maps. Like absolutely dominates on Circle Royale and like Junkertown. You know what I mean? Just dominates. And honestly, I wouldn't doubt of Shambali either with the way that map plays. But if I'm playing Dorado, do I think Sigma will dominate on Dorado? No. Can Sigma have a dominating game on Dorado or play well on Dorado? Yes, you can. But I think that it's just not like Sigma's strongest map, right? Like second point Dorado is just going to be tough. You know what I mean? Doesn't mean you can't play Sigma on those maps or on every map. What do I think of damage boosts? I've always wondered what would happen if damage boost numbers were reduced a little bit. Not getting rid of damage boost, but what if like damage boost wasn't as strong as it was? Like it still existed, but it wasn't as strong as it was. Would damage boost still be strong? Would it make heroes worse that have damage boost? What would be like, what would it change? Is I think damage boost can definitely make like some heroes stronger than, you know, with that damage boost, right? Would it be easier to balance around damage numbers if damage boost wasn't consistently in the game, right? You know, I don't know. Like, I feel like maybe it would be easier to balance if damage boost wasn't as much as, but then what else would you do? Like, you know, if they get rid, say they get rid of damage boost, okay, what do you do with Zenyatta? You know, what do you do with Mercy? You know, do you rework Bap's ultimate? You know, all these things, right? And there's definitely variations they'd have to go through if they even remove that. Will they ever look into that? Maybe. You said maybe they could add a change to Mercy for her damage boost is nerfed to where it slightly heals when you're damage boosting. I don't know, maybe. There's definitely things they could experiment with. You know, I definitely would like to see eventually some experimental like patches. So experimental patches in Overwatch 1 where they would just try stuff that may not go live in the game. It'd be kind of cool to see that sometimes. Like maybe they added cool ideas like that. Like, hey, what is it like if there's no damage boost? You know, what is it like if Reinhardt has speed boost on certain abilities? What if, you know, this hero? Are the updates live? Yeah, balance patches up. You said the shields need more oof to them. Current state of them, they drain too fast. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't see them making shields be any more effective than they are right now. and I'll explain why. They don't want Overwatch to become a game revolved around shields anymore. It's also why 5v5 to me feels a little bit better, is that you just aren't shooting shields. And what I mean by that is that there was a rotation that happened in Overwatch 1. Okay? Say there was 2 shields. Not all the time, but say there was 2 shields. You ready? Kill the shield. Kill the next shield. Those tanks rotate cooldowns. Kill the shields. They're out of cooldowns for 3 seconds. Do damage. Shields are back. Go again. So you had a 3-second window as a DPS player, even a support, to be able to put any damage output or make any play off of that. Keep in mind, I played tank. So, like, I got to see this rotation all the time. Right? Like a 3-second window to do anything. Rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat. What happens, what ends up happening is if they, say they take a shield and go, okay, shields have 2,500 HP now. Same thing happens. You're going to spend so long breaking shields that you won't be breaking, you just will be breaking shields the whole time. You won't have, there won't be like, it'll just be breaking shields again. And I think they don't want that. I think they prefer the idea of you use shields to get to the spots in the map you want, or to spam some damage like a Sigma, but you're not going to have those shields up for a while, so your position is going to be a little bit more key. They don't want that anymore. At least I don't think so. Gridlocks, thanks for the gifted sub. Thank you. I think like, and of course everybody's opinion on that will be different, but like I think 5v5 plays a lot better. It's more about getting the balance correct in that now, right? And I think that's going to take time to get that balance to a spot. Or the balance will always just be where they have to just change stuff up every season. And I'm okay with that, because in Overwatch 1, there just wasn't any balance changes ever. So you ended up on year-and-a-half long metas. Listen, I don't think that would be good for Overwatch if they did year-and-a-half long metas or year-long metas again. I don't think that wouldn't be good. I really don't. So like, I just don't see them bringing back shields to be as good as they were before. I understand it's just kind of basically like a playstyle difference now that they're changing. They want to make it so tanks are more kind of like aggressive, and they do want to keep, heroes like Reinhardt where you shield up and kind of play defensively if you need to, or can play aggressively. And I think they'll make changes to Rein, but I don't think they're going to go and make Rein shield 2,500 HP to make Rein a better hero, because then you just back to shield breaking all the time. Like, shield breaking has almost become like you don't even have to break the shield if you want to, but it's good to break the shield because you can get a little bit more value off of certain like plays you want to make. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So like, I don't see them bringing shields like back to that type of level. The slight move speed buff for Rein? Oh yeah, I mean, I've been saying that. Even before the Ramatra buff, that's been something I've suggested. So I wouldn't, maybe they will look into that one day with Rein. Hey, but you can tell that with Nemesis form, that 20% speed boost has made Nemesis form infinitely better, in my opinion. Infinitely better, in my opinion. Thoughts on the upcoming Hog nerf? Listen, it's gonna happen. Hog won't have a one-shot, and then they're gonna do a soft rework after that. I think they're finally looking into just changing the play style of Hog a little bit.